Stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning, everyone, to the June 4th commission meeting. We are live on Zoom, and so it'd be great if everybody would be recognized before they speak this morning. First of all, I'll call for additions to the agenda. Danny.
Yeah, I'd like to bring up the condition of the state roads in our county.
Amy. Nothing. Esty. Nothing. Ernie.
I got septic tank updates. I'll inform you a little bit on that matter, dam, their decision, I think they're going with, and then the water tours.
Chrissy? I do not. Okay, and I don't have anything either. Next is consent agenda. Everyone should have gotten the regular minutes from last month's May 21st meeting and the monthly bills. And then we have a gaming permit added to the consent agenda. So could I have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second. Any more questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? Okay, motion carried. Next, we'll have employee time. And so Brent, you came in first, so we'll let you go.
We were contacted by an individual who's with the Army right now, and she's
With what?
with the Army military. And she's retiring in February of 2026. But the Army has a program where they will pay people for 6 months of training in a position, and she's interested in dispatching. And she was wondering if that is something that we would consider, is bringing her on for a 6-month period anyway as training, and she would be paid by the military, so she needs, and it's not for till 2026, she doesn't retire until 26, but she's coming up in July and she would bring some of the paperwork because it's like a year ahead of time, she's gotta have all of this lined up before she moves forward, so I don't know if there's any ramifications of doing that, or there's no guarantee that she has a position. I mean, it would be, I don't know what our status will be at that time. I know that the end of 25, Sheila's eligible to retire, and I mean, David could technically leave at any time. He's already retired from one entity, so.
Well, that would give me my question, is she looking for a position here then? If she comes here to train, is she hoping to get a position?
Yeah, I think, yeah, she's looking for, I think she wants to be in to dispatch, and they're, she's currently in Arizona. I mean, they're planning to come up here. Her husband is in law enforcement.
So we'd actually be able to utilize her during that training period that they're going to pay for, correct? I mean, she'd be here training.
She'd be here for training, all right, yeah, so with that 6 months, we could use her just as, I mean, it would, usually, when we have about 2 months of training one-on-one, or, you know, she's paired off with somebody that for that full 2 months, and then depending on how it's going, you know.
Right, I think it sounds like a great deal. They'll pay for it. We get it for 6 months for sure.
For sure, yep, and then if we have an open, I mean, the goal is hopefully we'd have a position that she could move into, but I can't, you know. That's too far down the road for me to know whether there is or isn't gonna be an opening.
That's it, there's absolutely no cost to us.
So the only thing I have to clarify is like if we're bringing her on, I mean, we still have to do like a drug test and a hearing test, and I'm not sure if they would pay for them or if we would be responsible for that cost, but they would cover any, whatever salary she's getting. I don't even know what they would pay for, you know, whatever that arrangement is.
If it's no cost to us, I don't know why we wouldn't do it.
so.
I guess I'm just curious, why she picked us. Does she have family up here?
I
Just-
believe he has family, because they're coming in July to visit, so
Okay.
their intention is to locate into
Okay.
Grafton after we
Okay,
retire, so.
Amy,
Would it be 40 hours a week? Has that been clarified at all, or you don't know the amount?
It's
It's full time.
Yeah, it's like for 6 months of getting trained in a discipline, so I mean, she could. She could opt to go to Marvin Windows if she wanted to, and they would pay for 6 months of training at Marvin, whatever that is to help them. Find something after cause I'm assuming, I have no idea the individual, but they, probably 40. Some right around in age, they put their 20 years in, they're retiring from the army.
Well, I just think 6 months, what a blessing to have that mama training. I mean, she'd
Right.
probably be amazing. She's done it, she likes it, so I agree.
So, and I'll let them go look at moving forward potentially, and then. In July, if I meet with her and, look at the paperwork and see some red flags, I'll bring it back to you, but I don't know that. I don't see a downside necessarily for us.
I don't know that we need a motion.
That's fine, I just
Yeah,
need consent
okay.
to, or at least offer, or
Yep.
consider it, so.
Okay,
Great.
sounds good. Thanks, Brent.
So, and this, quick, I do have one new dispatcher, she's been there for a couple months, it's Amber. Grigsby. I can't do that, say the last name. But I'm still short one, so, and we currently don't have any other applicants at the moment, we haven't been really pushing it out hard the last, we've been kind of doing a break to see what, it'll recycle here again, but. Got a couple interests in part-time, but nothing that,
Can I just ask you, Brian,
yeah.
do we ever try to target, say, somebody coming out of high school that isn't interested in going to college or anything, or? I don't know, maybe too young, I'm not sure, but I just thought they're so good, quick with computers and multitasking and.
Yeah, well, we've had a couple of young ones that have applied, they don't seem to work out sometimes, but I'm not saying that we don't. So usually like when they have the job fairs, I don't ever seem to find out about them until after the fact, so I don't get to be part of those usually, but. So we need to figure out that, cause I have nothing, right out of high school, it would be fine, I don't have nothing against.
Yeah, I was just
Okay.
thinking, like going to some of our local schools in the county, maybe even to the senior classes and saying, hey, if you guys are looking for a job and you're not gonna go to college right away, maybe this would be something they'd be interested in.
And Mike Hansen does that internship
Yes.
program too, so that would be a good contact to you. I mean, that's a way to
Right.
get them in and they can learn it and decide if they like it ahead of time.
Right.
In their juniors, younger years.
Mhm.
Okay,
Okay,
thanks, Brent. I'm gonna call on Christy right now to introduce our new employee.
Yeah, I want to introduce everybody to Nasa Oliver. She accepted the deputy treasurer 2 position. She started a week ago today.
Yes. Well, I'll just have everybody introduce themselves, starting with Denny and where you're from.
Amy stood at Grafton.
Karen Anderson, Grafton, rural Grafton.
Ernie Matter, Ernie Barta.
And Christy Britnell, I'm from the Portville area. Yeah, and welcome to you. We're excited you're here.
Thank you. I moved here April of 2023. Just buy a home, get some fresh air, and I was working remotely for a while, and the hours kind of laid off, and so I wanted to work and live in my community. I live in Vesleyville, and right next to St. Luke's. I've got I don't know how deep I should go, and
That's good. Only because I want to stay on.
Yes, yeah,
So,
yes.
yeah.
Happy to be here.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice to have you, Nasa. Okay, we'll see you back here at 10:05 here
Yes, ma'am.
shortly. Okay. Ron, did you have anything?
No.
Okay. Okay, well, then we'll move ahead, and I think Tara's in, come on in. Next, we have Tara Balstead, and she's gonna be talking about the domestic violence program. I'm on the domestic violence board, and I asked her to come and give us an update. So you can come in the front here, Tara, and. And anytime you come, you can just come into the meeting right away, you don't.
Okay, no, I've never been once, but it's like, I'm not trying to.
I'm trying to get your attention to come on in, but, okay, so, good morning.
Good morning, thank you for the introduction. And so yes, like she said, my name is Tara Belstead and I'm the director of the Domestic Violence and Abuse Center. For those of you who don't know exactly what our day kind of looks like and entails, we offer emergency shelters to those who need it. That may be at our actual shelter or in a hotel, depending on the situation. We currently don't have the ability to have animals at the shelter. And so that's usually a deciding factor whether to go into a hotel or a shelter, because lots of people don't want to leave their pet behind, which is understandable. I'm a dog mom, I wouldn't want to either. So we also offer assistance with filing orders of protection, assistance with getting different financial assistance, social services type things that they might qualify for, helping them get a job or an apartment. And then basically whatever they need for the apartment, a lot of times they come with backpack to us. And so we've got to find all the furniture, dishes, everything that you would need to start a new place. So we help them get that. We help out with support accompaniment, support groups, transportation assistance, and limited financial assistance. Most recently, we have been working towards ramping up our prevention program. We feel that it is very important for the young people in our communities to start to learn about healthy relationships versus toxic relationships, bullying, consent, and a variety of other things that can go along with that. Definitely all issues that we feel will help our ultimate goal of breaking the cycle of abuse. Just kind of starting on. We've also had several even daycares approach us about coming in and just doing like a good bad friend, bad friend type of thing, just to kind of get things started and, you know, not worrying about bullying so much at that age, but getting them, you know, kind of prepared and that we, you know, this is how we treat people and that kind of thing. And it's been really well received, so we're happy for that. We were able to be in 4 schools this year with our healthy relationships sessions, and we hope to be at least double in the upcoming school year. We were able to hire an additional staff member and a half. So we are able to spread ourselves a little bit further and be able to touch more schools and things like that. So we're happy about that. One new program that we're working on is called Coaching Boys into Men, which would be a program that we would purchase and we would be we would get trained to be the trainers. And then we would go in and talk to the different coaches in the schools. And then we would train them how to incorporate this program into like their daily practices, games, things like that. So we're looking forward to that. Just another tidbit, we'd like to say that our program is a full circle of care, which is why we also offer the men's and the women's offender groups. In these groups, they are taught, you know, about the cycle of abuse, what they can do to change their thoughts, behaviors, patterns in their home that they're seeing. They're helped to understand what a happy and healthy relationship is like and how to obtain one, whether they're currently working on their family that they have, or they're going into a new relationship. We kind of cover all of that. DAC likes to believe that we're helping families in every way possible. We support the decisions that are made by our clients, and we work with them on the journey that they wish to play out for their lives in the future, all while providing safety, support, and just do all we can to ensure their self-sufficiency and success. So I just have a few stats that I was going to give you for the last years, just so you can see how needed our services are. In the last year, 130 individuals and families with shelter and non-shelter services were served. We have provided assistance in 87 calls for crisis intervention, provided emergency financial assistance to 33 families, and held 292 sessions of individual counseling. We have also helped clients with 57 orders of protection and provided 597 shelter nights. And just if anyone didn't know what shelter night was, it's basically like if 2 people stay one night, then we count that as 2. So each body for each night is 1. So that was really all I had to share for what we have that was upcoming, just kind of short and sweet. But I did want to mention that we do have a fundraiser coming up in a couple of days over in Mountain. The tickets are $30. We're serving a really good meal. It's going to be a good time. So tickets can be purchased at the door if anybody would like to come.
Any questions for Tara?
What areas do you serve again? What area?
We are Walth, Pembina and Cavalier.
And where are you located?
We have our main office and shelter here in Grafton.
Okay.
We have a satellite office in Langdon, satellite office in Cavalier, and then also one in Mountain, which is where our attendant groups are run.
Can you tell them when we have board meetings? Can you tell them when we have board meetings?
The board meetings are quarterly. And then we also kind of do have it in each county, we rotate to make sure that nobody has to drive further than everybody else and that kind of thing. And put Zoom in when necessary, you know,
And
people have lives, it's hard managing things sometimes.
and the stats you gave were for how many years? Or for a year?
Just for the last year.
That's shocking. It's absolutely shocking, the number of people
Yeah.
that have needed your services in these three counties.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Yeah, it's quite a bit and we're
We're happy you're there to help
that's what I
them,
was gonna say,
but
we're happy.
I'm actually shocked by the number.
Mhm.
Do we have any more questions from any commissioners? Go ahead.
Do you, when I was on the board there, we started a program with one of the lawyers that started a sort of like treatment. It was a program that they were trying to treat him so they don't go back into assault. Is that still there or is it?
For the offender
Yeah.
party, you mean? Yes, we actually have, that's what is in Mountain, it's the two, we have women's and men's offender classes.
Okay, that's where it was when I was starting up that way, so.
Yeah, and if you're in court order, or you can also do that voluntarily.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you're just having problems in your relationship and you know.
And it's called,
Choices to Change, or Choice to Change is the name of the men's group, and Alternatives to the name of the women's group.
Pretty good participation yet, or?
I would say we definitely have a good participation in the men's group. The women's group is a new one that we've been offering. It's just a couple years into it now. And we have had, you know, a handful come through. But I think that it's slow change. Things are kind of coming more towards, you know, women are being arrested, more women are being charged. And so it's just something, right now, we don't actually have our own program. We bounce off of the Devil's Lake program. And we Zoom into them, so we have our own stuff that we do, but we just utilize their facilitator via Zoom to teach the class. So once we get our, you know, more up our feet and have more people, we're absolutely going to have both classes in-house.
Good.
Ron?
I just wanted to thank Tara for coming, first of all, and we work hand in hand with Tara and her program, and it is vital for our community. Law enforcement relies on it heavily. When we have victims, often victims are underrepresented and domestic violence does a great job of taking care of their needs, and the numbers are staggering, yes. But there is the need, a vast need for them to help us through the victim part of when we have a domestic or sexual assaults or that stuff. Domestic violence program is there to help these victims through that traumatic time. So we're very thankful to have them in our community.
Yes. Thank you, Ron. Amy?
And I just wanna say how awesome is to hear like that coaching boys to men. I mean, that proactive preventative approach is just, that's how you get change. You know, I mean, obviously reform is possible too, but if you can, like you said, change some of those patterns and the thoughts and break those cycles young, for them to see healthy early on, that's great.
Absolutely, yeah, we're pretty excited about it, to see how far we can expand and there's been a lot of things that we've been hearing that have been very concerning in school. That just for the cause of, okay, we gotta do something, you know, so, yeah, very happy to move forward and see where it brings us.
Thank you. So, nope, I think that's it. I wanted Tara to come in, because I'll be done at the end of the year and I've been working with Tara and the domestic violence for, I think, 8 years, something like that. So, and Tara's been doing a wonderful job. I want to thank you, Tara. Yep. Okay, thank you.
Have a good day.
You too.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll have Anya come up next.
Good morning.
Good morning, Anya.
So I sent this to Christy yesterday and then realized like Christy is swamped and I don't even know, did she send it along to you guys? Okay. didn't realize until this morning, I was like, Christy never replied to that, I bet she never even saw it, 'cause I know how busy you are, I should
I
know.
read it wrong. I thought you said I sent this to the commissioners and
Oh.
I assumed that I wasn't included on it. So I'm
Oh,
sorry.
yeah.
I misunderstood it.
No, it's just so much my fault, cause I sent it to Christy saying, hey, let me know if you have any feedback, and then, yeah, it's okay.
No, I did review it too. I'm sorry.
I know, I'm sorry, it's just as much my fault, so it's just, I put it on one sheet for you, okay, so it's a 2-page document, but I did front and back for you.
Good.
So this is just your options that you requested, okay, I've got your, on the far right side, you see the columns, a step in 1%, a step in a 1.5, and a step in 2%. So at the very bottom, on the back side, then, you'll see the totals. I have what it would increase your monthly payroll, and then annual payroll, and then your overall percentage increase in payroll. I did that calculation just because I thought it's kind of helpful to see that. Last year we did a 2, right? The COLA is sitting at 2.8, like I shared with you last time, it's been at 2.8 for the last 3 months. January was 2.7, the May numbers come out next week on June 12th, so a week from tomorrow is when the May numbers will be out. I do have 3 departments that have reached out to me regarding specific requests. For either, one individual in the department or a couple individuals in their department. I haven't acted on them yet, just because my brain's not shifted fully to budget mode, but just so you're aware, I do have 2 departments that have reached out to me to take a look at specific things within their department, so I'll be shifting my focus to those requests now as we're diving into budget work.
So 2024, 2% plus step, that's what we gave them last year. To the very left, and that is what they're making monthly.
Correct, yep,
Okay,
the very first column, yep. And then the 2025 step is just bumping everybody up a step. If you'll notice in that column, you'll see some people sitting at 21, that simply means that they're at the top, right? So they're above, they were at least step 20 in 2024. So they'd be above that, that's just what the 21 indicates. For those individuals, I just applied to COLA. So I did apply that 1, 1.5, or 2 for those individuals.
any questions for,
I need a few minutes to.
Yeah, I apologize.
over.
It's for you guys to have time to look at it.
Yeah, I
It wasn't until this
I don't know
morning
if
that I
we're
was
gonna make
like,
any decisions or anything, are we on this, but yeah, take a couple, like, minute or so. Tanya, I would love for when you make this again,
Mhm.
that we get their full yearly pay.
the annual, okay,
Yes,
I can
please.
include that.
Yes,
Yep,
this way
yep,
it's done, I don't have to sit and think and.
I understand, yeah. Everybody prefers something different, some people like to speak in hourly terms, some people like to speak in monthly, annual.
I like to see it all.
Yeah, that's fine, I can include that going forward. And I can even email that to all of you
Yeah,
and add a
that'd be
column, that would
great.
be really easy to do, so.
Okay, that'd be great.
Yeah, I should have just emailed it to all of you the same time I sent it to Chrissy yesterday, I apologize,
okay.
because it's nice to have this I intended for you to have it to absorb beforehand, so.
For next meeting is, let's see. So I'm reading.
The next meeting is June 18th.
And then the next week is our first budget meeting, right?
Yeah.
We probably can't wait. Because of the department heads needing something to go on for the budget.
Well, for a lot of them, this is the bulk of their budget, right? This is kind of the biggest consideration that you have to look at, so.
Right.
Okay, so we want this
Direction might
before the
be-
18th.
I think it might be.
That's fine.
Helpful for the budget, for you to give them some direction, I guess. And as always, like every auditor always preaches, you of course can always go back down if you need to. Once you give them some numbers and I have all 3 pay scales created. In other words, I have a pay scale created for 2025 that includes 1%, a 1.5, and a 2. So they're all already created, so it wouldn't if you end up changing your mind at some point in time, I could even send out the whatever pay scale to every single department and say, okay, use this scale and plug it into your budgets. So those systems are in place if we need to do that.
I guess Madam Chairman?
Yes,
I guess my first thought would be, let's look at the step. Are we going to offer the step increase this year or not? To me, that definitely should be offered. We should always. be
I think
doing
that
step.
I think that's always included that with our pay plan that we do the step.
Well, we always have to make a motion to do it.
Yeah.
You do, yeah, and
We
it's,
need a
and
motion to it.
yep, and since I think it's been a lot of years, but it has happened where that hasn't been provided, so it should be, I think it's assumed by most of the staff that that is how our pay plan works, but it always has to be dependent upon our budget, so, yeah, a motion would be appropriate.
Trouble is if we don't go the step, we're going back to where we're gonna fall down
Yeah,
competitively again. And
exactly.
we learned on that mistake.
Yep, we learned that.
As much as we don't, yep, as much as we don't like it, you're just gonna get behind the scale again if we don't.
Yeah,
So do I have a motion I think we'll just do this in two motions, is that okay? Do I have a motion that we would increase a step?
So moved.
I'll second.
Any more discussion on increasing the step? Hearing none, I'll ask for the roll call. Denny,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
Christie,
Yes.
Ernie,
Yes,
myself, yes, motion carried. Okay, so we can discuss the COLA. Now,
Madam Chairman.
yes,
So when I'm looking at your chart, so I make sure I'm understanding it correctly, on the second page at the very bottom where it says overall percentage increase in payroll. So when we're looking at that step and 1% increase, yeah, so we've already approved the step, so now if we do a 1%, we'd be looking at a total of
2.41 increase from 2024 to 2025. Overall payroll expenses would increase by 2.41%.
Okay.
Correct. Yep, because if you recall, our pay plan is set up that we have, at the front end, for the first 5 steps, it's 2%, right? Those steps are each 2%. The middle 10 steps are 1.5%, and then the final 5 steps are 2% again. So that's why these numbers kind of, by the time you factor in where everybody's placed in the steps, everybody's getting a 1.5 or a 2, depending on where they're placed. And then you add the COLA to that, so that isn't a surprising number. If I had to guess, that's probably where I would have guessed it to be.
Right. So then right above that, where you say annual payroll increase, again, if I'm just using 1% as an example. The annual payroll increase, that's not just the 1%, that's the 1%
That's the whole
and the
thing.
step, so.
Correct,
So if we go with the 1% COLA, it's an annual increase of $91,612.
correct.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay.
Ernie,
so in the event of not having to redo this, we always used to start high and go low. And my thinking is until we get it to each department, because we got some departments that salaries come out of general and they come out of different.
Yeah,
Why don't we start at the higher one for now to give them the numbers, and then from there we can look at the departments and see comfortably where we are.
Mhm.
Cause right now, sitting here, we can look at this, but
You don't, right, I've never, and that's been talked about before, whether I should be trying to give you broken down, by budget, by fund, I mean.
yeah,
There's maybe been once or twice over the years when we're fine tuning the budget that I've had to do that. But overall, to give you a quick glance, I haven't ever
Yeah,
broken
and
it down, but you're right, every fund, some funds can easily handle a 2%, some funds might not, so. Mhm.
but at least we don't have to, we can always go down,
But
we know that.
Madam Chairman, my only concern with that is, you put it out there that, oh, we're going high and this is gonna be the COLA. That's what everybody thinks they're getting earned.
Well,
I will, but as an employee, I was an employee for 35 years, if you put out there that, hey, we're gonna start high and we might bump it down, everybody's counting on the high.
I would bet every employee is watching this on Zoom right now.
Right, so if we say, let's go with the top one, everybody thinks that's what they're gonna get, and I just wanna make sure that it's always hard to take it away.
as you noticed, I said we can cut,
I
and that's
know,
hard.
I did notice that, but I will tell you from an employee standpoint,
So,
you don't think they're gonna cut it.
so what happens if we go with the 1% in the middle, and all of a sudden we still have to cut that? Same thing. Cause we don't know what department, or who's gonna be financed by that department. Jason has some that are, not general fund that don't affect us. And Ron, I don't know if they do, I don't know what each department, but that's my point. is we're probably, even after we get back, how many times have been on this thing and we've always seemed like we cut it or something, cause we just look at those final numbers and say, oh boy. So where do we go? I'm comfortable with anything, but to me, at least if we give them the high number, we can go down and. I don't know, it's, you know, salary, we have this every time we do it.
I would have to agree with Ernie, I would like to go with the 2% for now.
And just see what the numbers, if they scare us or not.
Yeah.
Cause even if we don't, you know, and I look at certain departments, I look at Browns and I look at the highway, we lose a lot of people and everything if we don't stay competitive. And if, you know, it's only 0.5%, but the $100 and some a month or whatever, that's gonna affect us down the road. And if we have the money, I don't have any trouble paying our good people to stay here.
Yeah.
That's what I base it on.
I'm sure, I guess I'd be a little curious what our auditor, if you have an opinion on it as well.
My big thing is, yeah, aim high, cause you can't go,
You can go up.
but it's not my decision, you know, we don't have any of our numbers yet, I don't know where. The budgets are gonna, what they're gonna look like or anything, but, as long as the employees understand that it is 2% with a chance of cutting, you know, it's not a guarantee, but, I don't think there's any harm, as long as the employees understand that, I don't think there's any harm in going to the 2%. That's what we did last year, so it's not like it's completely off the chart, so.
If I look at our employees in the room, I think they understand we've cut before, haven't you? Yeah, and it's hard for us to make a quick decision like this, but yet I wanna be fair to you guys. If I can afford this, I wanna give it to you.
I don't know if it's a quick decision, we always
yeah.
come to this point where
Yeah.
we have to stay competitive with our employees, we have to. Amy, did you have something else?
I was just gonna say I would make a motion that we would do a 2%.
Okay.
stuff.
Can I add something?
And not till I get a second. Sorry.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any more discussion?
Yeah, I'm sorry, yes. My thing is, if you did the 2%, it might be, for the department heads to watch their other fund lines. You know, if they wanna invest, you know, they get an X amount of dollars on their budget, they wanna invest in their employees, they know to. Maybe there's wiggle room in other lines that they would compensate for that, you know, there's that option too, so.
Any more discussion?
Yeah, good point.
Well, I guess I'd just like to say that, yes, if we have the money, we all know we'd like to pay our employees more. If we operated with our heart and not our head, we'd be giving out huge raises to everybody. But we also have a budget to stay within, and we have to make sure we have the money to pay this. So I guess that's the point I look at it from, what our numbers are saying, what's our COLA increase, what, you know, what are the markets saying? We have to be careful, because are we looking at, can we afford 90,000 or can we afford 140,000? I mean,
And we'll decide that when we have our meetings, so, I mean. You know, this isn't cut in stone, we're just aiming for this, and when we have our meetings, we'll see all that when the numbers come in from the department heads.
And so,
I mean, exactly, I agree with you too, we can't do it if we can't. So, and our employees know that, we have to stay on our budget, so any more discussion? Hearing none, I'll take the roll call. Christie?
yes.
Ernie?
Yes.
Danny?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Myself, yes, motion carried.
okay, I will communicate these numbers with the department heads along with the actual chart and have them cross check my numbers, make sure that everybody's on the same page, so.
Okay,
Thank you. Can I ask
Thank
a
you.
question?
yes,
Last meeting, you said you were gonna send out something to department heads about the sick leave, did that go out? or-
No, it's
No,
sitting in
okay.
my outbox, I thought
Okay.
I was checking off all the things that's sitting there, I also was gonna update you and let you know that the insurance committee, that's somewhat related to budget stuff, we have a meeting this week as well, so. The insurance committee will be starting to.
Who's on the committee?
So I just, what we did, we had a long-standing committee previously that consisted of a combination of department heads and a couple of non-department heads. So there's 5 of us, I think, and I included Christie in the email, knowing their office is swamped right now, but I at least wanted to extend the invitation that somebody from her office could participate. Previously, Sandra was on the committee, and then it's Ron, Jason, Crystal, and JR. assistant state's attorney. So, we had trouble finding schedules and we just said, let's put something on the calendar to get the discussion rolling. So if the commission has any further guidance or insight as far as that committee makeup, that was a previously created committee that we had. And the committee was interested last year. I received a couple emails when we made a decision without including the committee, but we were under the gun. And we had to make the decision that we made. And so, but yeah, I heard from a couple of them last year when that happened. So I did reach out to that same committee, so.
So at some point, but I know both Amy and I said that we would participate in the committee as well. At some point, will we be included in that
Absolutely,
then?
I don't think I realized that, so I apologize. I didn't.
It probably never got to you.
Okay,
Probably
yeah.
never got to you, but I know we both said we were interested. I do think it's important for
Yes.
the auditor's office, and I know it's a bad time, but maybe
Yeah.
maybe if you can bypass the first meeting, but then get in on the rest.
Absolutely, yeah.
I agree.
I think, so this will just be a preliminary meeting for us to say, what are we gonna look at, kind of what's our, this is what we currently have sort of situation, so I will absolutely include you guys moving forward then.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thank you. No,
Thank you.
it's fine.
Okay,
Thank you.
Sonia.
thank you.
Yes, okay, we'll call on Ed. Tax director.
Good morning.
Yeah.
So the first item for today is Walton County Board of Equalization. So today is kind of just a chance to give you a brief overview of our assessment process so far this year. Give any property owners that are present a chance to appeal their assessment and address those. And then 2 weeks from now, I'll have the final report and final numbers for everybody. So in April, we all had our local boards of equalizations, all the cities and townships. As I think I have talked to you guys before, residential assessments are up significantly again this year in the county. I think we're up around a 12% increase countywide. That doesn't mean every property got a 12% increase. We look at every property individually. And some went up, some stayed the same, some might have gone down in certain instances, but overall residential property is going to be up hefty amount this year. Commercial and ag land will be the same in the final report in June, so there were, my office sent out over 750 notices of increase for residential property, just the townships and cities that I handle, as well as those that have their own local assessors sent out their own batches of notices of increase, so. Trying to address as much as we could at the local level, and some between then and now, we still got 2 inspections I need to do this week, with individuals, but, that's kind of where we're sitting. So, I don't know if anybody has any specific questions now, if not, I guess I would open it up to any property owners that would be here to appeal their assessment to, ask for recognition and then state their name and where they own their property and what their concerns are.
Hey, do we have anyone here to appeal an abatement? Or to have an abatement to appeal? Yes, can I have your name?
Matt Byron, Parker.
Great.
Are you guys members of the tax equalization committee? Is that right? Okay, I have a handout that I'd like to pass off.
Thank you.
Matt, you said you're from Park River?
That's right.
Okay,
So, little bit of my backstory. My wife and I in 2020 were pretty strong candidates to build a new home or whatever in Park River. And, you know, in our opinion, the choice lots were spoken for and, COVID happens and, seemingly overnight, 2x4s $20, $200 sheets of plywood. And property at 132 North Star Drive in Park River goes for sale in June of 21. And we bought it. And in the spring of 22, I got a notice saying that my assessed value was going up 60%, over $200,000. And because at that time, I collected some data and I went and had an informal appeal in Ann Bird's office in Park River. I had data which was current at the time, similar to page one that you have in front of you. Appealed my case that, you know, I didn't believe that my property is worth the assessed value. Got a lot of, well, what'd you pay so much for? Was kind of the answer I got out of that. When I tried to compare it to my neighbors and peers in the community with this data that I collected, I got, well, there's going up to. Ann Bird told me that her hands were tied, basically, but what she could and was willing to do was to spread the full brunt of the increase out over 3 years. And we left off at that. I signed off on it. I conceded, thinking that, you know, that's the only thing that could be done. So here we are, 2024, year 3 of the full brunt. I've got a couple more years with the data that I put on paper. Understand more of the formal appeal process. I've already appealed this in April to the city of Park River. Don't know that that was fruitful. Don't honestly feel like my assessed value is indicative of the fair market value. Of course, with the operative word being fair. And when I compare it to my peers and neighbors, I don't think that there's one up either, like I was told. I'm not here for theirs to go up, but I'm here for mine to go down, and this is just a next step in the process for me.
Okay. I'll hand it over to you then.
Yeah. Do you mind if I have a copy of that?
Oh, I'm sorry that I'm ready.
Okay. So this is the first time I'm seeing this data, so it's gonna be a lot to chew on for me today. I guess from my understanding, the property is valued at $525,800 for the 2024 assessment. Does that sound
Yep.
correct? Okay.
Page 2 has that.
Okay. And what did you purchase it for, Mr. Dyer?
530,000.
Okay, so still less than what you purchased it for, okay? So do you feel that the value is too high for the value, or do you feel that it's not equitable, I guess?
I feel like 525,000, which is this year's assessment minus a little bit of depreciation, is too high.
Okay. What do you feel your property is worth?
What everybody else's is. With families. I know that it's like, I have to put together a financial statement for the bank. They're not telling me that number. It's not worth that. That's the facts. But I can't. You know, if I would have paid $100,000, you were gonna use $100,000. If I would have paid $1 million, well, you probably would have used that, but if it was $100,000, we all know I would have gotten an increase showing that it was gonna go up to what everybody else was paying, and I'm just asking for it to go down to what everybody else was paying. And if theirs goes up, then bring mine up with it, but.
Are you talking on a per square foot basis or?
No, I understand there's lots of metrics that go into it, and so there's no apples to apples, you know, pure apples to apples comparison. But fair market value's gotta be one of the metrics that's used, and I don't think it's being used very much in this case.
So from my understanding is the city of Park River at their local equalization meeting denied Mr. Byron's appeal. I got a call from Amber shortly after the meeting to discuss the property, and we decided that we were gonna offer that Mr. Byron, that Ann and I could go take a look at the property. And then Ann called me later and said that Mr. Byron refuse that?
I expressed my, reservations probably. And you're as boss, correct? Are you as boss?
No, I'm,
Okay, well, your colleagues at some level or whatever, I thought that, maybe your assessment might not be objective enough to attain what I was trying to attain. I thought maybe you would just kind of honor her assessment, and of course, it's a lot like an appraisal in my mind where you know her number, and seems like they always come in right about the same number when we're talking appraisals, et cetera. So I just didn't know if it was, and I also asked the question, would your findings be the end all to everything? And I don't know that I know the answer to that.
so we would, typically what we do is Ann and I would work together to see, first of all, what value we came up with for the property, and then whether it's equitable to, you know, similar properties in the city of Park River. And we'd be looking at two different things, so, but what we typically do is we go do a physical inspection, and anytime we do an abatement or an appeal, the state requires a physical inspection. And so, whatever we come up with at the county board, whether it's today or 2 weeks from now, you would obviously have the opportunity to then appeal to the state board of equalization. And they have the ultimate say.
So if you did your assessment and your findings were, you know, not agreed upon, I could continue with my appeal.
That's correct. Being started at the local level, you have the opportunity to go to state.
Okay.
Yes, that's correct.
I'm not sure that I understood that. So nothing to lose.
Right.
Okay.
So I guess Pam, do you have anything to add at this time?
There was another new home, that was just in that area a few months before Byron's purchased theirs. Theirs is less finished square footage, sold for $435,000. Square foot living space came in at $91.64 per square foot. Mr. Byron's finished space came in at $99.62 a square foot. Comparables on the other houses that were out there. There were two that I have not visited, but the rest of them I have been in, was able to compare finishes. Number of bedrooms, bathrooms, finishes, quality of finishes. Mr. Byron's home has very nice, high quality finish. 6 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, large living space, high quality cabinet and counters. That sort of thing. So when I went through and used approximately 20 different metrics to figure out comparisons, where say Mr. Byron had 2 fireplaces instead of 1, you have 1, I increased yours to match 2. So we go across all these metrics, this is where I come up with the square footage. Most of the homes were within that $90 to $100 per square foot for the finished living space. This does not include the garage. Mr. Byron has a 3-car attached garage that is in better shape than a lot of homes I've been in. Entertaining area with facilities, you know, for having a party. It's a beautiful home. The exterior too has over and above finishes for vinyl siding versus his is engineered. It's just over and above. It's a very well put together home. But when I did my comparables, like I said, I came in between $90 and $100 per square foot on living space for the homes in that area. That are approximately the same age. Thank you.
So I guess I would propose, being this is the first time I'm seeing this data, that we work with Mr. Byron over the next week or so to look at his property if he's agreeable to that. And then you can make your official decision, you know, 2 weeks from now on that, and give us time to put together what we need to.
Okay.
I wouldn't have a recommendation to you today because I really don't know anything about the property other than what's been discussed and what the city of Park River did. So I would.
Is that okay with you, Mr. Byron?
It's the next step, I think,
Okay.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Make sure you get one number right now. Thank you.
Okay, are there any more appeals here today?
If not, that's all I have for today's segment of County Board of Equalization. Stay tuned. Weeks from now, we'll reconvene with the final numbers and what we find with Mr. Byron's property. So, if you have any questions for me, as far as the County Board of Equalization goes?
Okay, well, we'll close this equalization meeting and then we will take a couple minute break.
Weird.
We'll call the meeting back to order. And continue with Ed.
All right, so we got a couple of abatements today. The first one, I believe, is the application for Derek Polinski and Brittany Zaraka. It's for a property at 306 Regina Avenue South in Park River. They're not questioning, they're applying for the abatement for the 2022 and 2023 tax years. They're not questioning the valuation on this property. What they are abating or requesting is that the classification of the property be changed from a commercial classification to a residential classification. Upon review by Ann Berg, the Park River City Assessor, the structures on this parcel was changed from a fourplex to a threeplex prior to the 2022 tax year. So it used to be four apartments in there. They combined two of the apartments into one, so it's now a threeplex. So North Dakota Century Code states that any structure with 3 or fewer living units should be classified as residential. Where in the past it was 4 units, so it was automatically classified as commercial. So I do believe that the classification should be changed on this property from what used to be commercial to the residential classification. The city of Park River approved this application. So I recommend that the Welch County Commission approve a motion to change the classification of this parcel from commercial to residential with an unchanged value of $110,970 in 2022 and a value of $325,000 for 2022 tax year.
Do I have a motion on the recommendation of the tax director to change the classification? So moved. Second?
Second.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, I'll take the roll call. Danny?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Christie?
Yeah.
Ernie?
Yes.
Myself, yes, motion carried.
All right, the second abatement application today was from Brian Brunel for a parcel in Medford Township that he resides in. It is for the 2022 and 2023 tax years again. Mr. Brunel feels he qualifies for a farm residence exemption as an active farmer. They did meet with Mr. Brunel. He submitted a farm residence exemption application. We did complete the statement of farm gross income worksheet together, and it does show that at least 66% of his total gross income does come from farming activities. Medford Township did approve this abatement application. So I also recommend that the Welch County Commission approve a motion to change the true and full value of this parcel from originally $49,000 some for both years to just a land value. The structure would be exempt because he's on a farm residence exemption. So the new value would be $4,569 for 2022, $4,792 for 2023.
I move to accept the abatement. I'll second it.
Thank you. Any more discussion or questions? Hearing none, I'll take the roll. Christie?
I'll recuse myself since that's my son.
Ernie?
Yes.
Danny?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Myself, yes, motion carried.
All right, thank you. The next item I had on the agenda was some license agreements for a Vanguard comparable sales module. So you guys recall, in 2018, our office invested in the Vanguard software, our CameraVision mass appraisal software. And kind of like with Tyler, you can buy different modules with that software. The county just went with the basic modules at that time. So the city of Grafton, if you remember, has a remote license off of our CameraVision, as does the city of Park River, so they can check their parcel data out and do their work that they need to do. Well, the city of Grafton is at a point now where they have all of their data, their property data into the program, and they would like to start using what's called a comparable sales module to help them value their properties. So the city of Grafton has offered to pay the full cost of the initial cost of the module, as well as the first year of the maintenance fees. So the initial cost to get this module is $2,650. The city of Grafton has offered to pay that full amount. The annual maintenance done for that is $6,650 per year. They have offered to pay the first year of that as well. And then, as of right now, unfortunately, for most of the county, we're not in a position to be using this module. But at some point, we do hope to get there, so, it would be something that we would benefit from in the long run as well. If we were to purchase this and, I figure if the city of Grafton is willing to pick up that additional cost, it's a win-win for both of us, so.
Amy?
It was how much per year for maintenance?
$650 per year. The initial cost is $2,650. And the annual maintenance is $620.
I'll make a motion, we move forward.
Go ahead, Ernie. Yep, Ernie.
Forward with the paying the maintenance, like you said, if it's, we're gonna use it in the future, it's a good investment.
I'll second.
Any questions or discussion?
Madam Chairman.
Yes.
So I have a question. You said that they pay the initial cost and the first year of maintenance. Who pays the second year of maintenance?
That's, we're up to negotiate, it's gonna be up to negotiation.
It would be,
If the
okay,
county's using it, we'll probably pick that up going forward, or we can try to split it somewhere.
split it, okay, I just wanted to make sure, because you said right now we're not using it, so if we're not using it by year 2, I don't feel we should have to pay
Right,
the
and
maintenance.
I
Do you think we can work
I
that out?
have faith to say Grafton.
Perfect.
Values.
Perfect.
Any more questions? Hearing none, I'll take the roll. Danny?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Christie?
Yes.
Ernie?
Yes.
Myself, yes, motion carried.
Madam Chairman, we'll need signatures on the
Okay.
two agreements before we leave today, or I can leave.
Do you want to just leave them here?
Yes. All right, then the final thing I had, was just some brief discussion, being we're getting into budget talks about counting, what the county charges to do the assessing for local townships and smaller cities. Right now, these jurisdictions contract through our office to do the assessing, we're doing about 20 of them right now. Right now, we're charging $3 per parcel. And from my research, it's been, the county has charged $3 for parcels that are 20 to 30 years. Hasn't changed. So right now, I believe the county is bringing in about $13,000 of revenue from these contracts at $3 per parcel. I would propose maybe we go to $4 per parcel. For now, and see where we go in the future, and not let it get to be 20, 30 years before we address it again. In that case, it would increase our revenue to about 17,000, so an increase of around $4,000 to the county to offset our costs for doing the assessing for them. For a typical township, it might increase their bill $250. So, it's not like we're putting a huge burden on the townships. Some of the larger cities like Minto, it's gonna be an extra $1,500 or $2,000. But they're still getting a bargain by having it stupid, in my opinion, so. Just wanted to propose that to you guys. I think it would probably take a motion from you guys to do that, but.
I would make a motion that we increase the parcel cost to $4 per parcel.
I'll second. Any more discussion, questions for?
I just feel this is something that shouldn't wait to be 20 to 30 years, maybe we should be reviewing it every 5 years.
Yeah, I agree, yeah, especially as our salaries and health insurance and everything, added staff increase, so. And I did put a bug in all the townships and cities here this year at our local equalization meeting, that we would be probably discussing this, so. I didn't want to blindside them.
Sure. Okay, any more questions? Okay, hearing none, I'll take the roll. Christie?
Yes.
Ernie?
Yes.
Danny?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Myself, yes, motion carried. Okay, anything more for Ed?
Oh, I was gonna. You said that with the townships and stuff, the residential's coming up, are the townships? Are they all coming up sort of to get where we want them, or are there still some that are way down that we should be looking at, or?
No, everybody except one township did a great job this year.
Okay.
We had one township that, their local assessor didn't get to their property, so, I actually spoke with the township board this past week. And I'm doing a 5% increase on that township.
Okay.
For everybody in the township this year, and we needed that to get within tolerance, I think I told you guys we had to go up around $24 million in residential value. we're about $200,000 short of that. So the local assessor did a great job this year, aside from that one, so. But once we do the 5% on that one township, we'll be within tolerance, I believe.
We're doing this to treat everybody to fairness, and that's why I asked her.
Yes, yeah.
All doing it.
And how many do you assess, Mr. Local Assessor?
Between what I do on the side and
Yeah.
the county, close to 30.
Okay. Yes, Christie.
I just have one comment before it goes. I'd just like to thank him, because he did allow April, and I'd like to thank April as well. She was backup for us for payroll when we were going through all the transition. I believe that's ended now, not to the point where she won't be backup anymore, but, I think we're at a point now where we're not having to ask April to help, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so I just like to let everybody know that Ed was willing to let his employee step up and help out, and we appreciate that, because that's what we wanna see, is teamwork. And
Yeah,
we appreciate it, and please let April know as well, and I have talked to her, so
Yes, I will.
it was very helpful.
okay, thank you, thanks, Andrew. Okay, next we have a Vesleyville update. Mr. Herb Windsor is here today. And then I believe we have Curtis Regella.
Yep.
And another resident here who might speak from Vesleyville too, our new deputy treasurer, Nasa Oliver. So I don't know that everybody needs to speak. You have 15 minutes. And, cause I wanna keep on schedule for,
Was Kelly coming down for this, or no?
no, she's got cleared.
Okay.
So,
Okay, thank you, Commission, for hearing me this morning. As you know, we have been dealing with this situation for over a year. A number of us have approached Mr. Sand in various times to try to talk to him and reason with him about what he's doing, and he just tells us what we want to hear and tells us he's cleaning the property up and he's in the process of doing it. In the meantime, he keeps bringing more stuff in, so that's the background. So I just wanted to give you kind of an overall background. I presented a copy of this to Karen. So on May 24th, Mr. Sand appeared in court for a pretrial hearing. Mr. Sand pleaded guilty to 2 counts of public nuisance, largely as a result of a failed health inspection of the Vesleyville property. Mr. Sand has been given 60 days to clean up the property to meet the North Dakota public health standards. I have been in contact with Mr. Jason Anderson. He is the inspector. He is waiting for an order, I guess, from Walsh County, and then he wants to contact the Walsh County Health Board and provide them with an order of abatement. So that's where we're at on that. To clean up the property to meet the North Dakota public health standards. For Vesleyville violation, Mr. Sand also has been put on an unsupervised probation. Now, for the Vesleyville charge, it was 2 years. For the Nash charge, it was not as long. I'm not sure if the final was 18 months or 2 years, but if you read the actual document of the court, it says for Vesleyville, it was 2 years. Which Mr. Sand is not to bring any more vehicles or junk on the property. And if he does, he is in violation of his probation. This property has been determined to be a health hazard and nuisance, which initiated the current charges against him. The property must meet the North Dakota public health standards. Since May of 2023, the residents of Vesleyville attended several county commission meetings, attended several court appearances, and basically nothing has changed regarding the property currently owned by Mr. Sand. Mr. Sand has been given several opportunities to clean up the property, but he refuses to do so. At one of the hearings, the court said he could not bring any more junk in other than what he could store in his building on the property. The court said he could remove the junk from the property at any time. In March of 2024, a loaded truck belonging to Mr. Sand was parked at the Senex in Grafton for a week and finally made its way to Vesleyville on or around April 3rd, 2024, from which the junk was partially unloaded. Mr. Sand denies unloading anything, but pictures were sent to the Walsh County Sheriff's Office of the truck that showed the junk on the truck and the same truck unloaded on the property.
To my knowledge, Mr. Sand was not confronted for this or found in contempt of court, which he should have been at that time. Mr. Sand claims he's in the process of cleaning things up and now appears to be building a partial wall on the property. The reality is the situation has not changed since the initiation of the litigation. The property continues to cause an ongoing health and safety risk to the people of Vesleyville, as well as a public nuisance. The property remains unkept, not mowed. Now, last night, he was out there trying to do a little mowing around all of his junk, which I'm sorry, doesn't meet the criteria. He just plays the game is what he does. It remains a fire hazard, including vehicles remain parked and don't run. There are tires, boxes falling apart with unknown materials in them. The community has been catching rodents, including rats, that we haven't had issues with prior to Mr. Sand's junkyard. There are rodents moving into the cemetery next door. Neighbors are complaining that junk has been blowing upon their property. Sand appears to have little motivation of removing the junk in Vesleyville located, which caused him one of the two legal actions against him. This pattern of conduct at other properties he owns proves this point. Mr. Sand is waiting for these legal issues to be resolved, thinking nothing will come of it. After which, he will continue to haul more junk onto the property. His claims of running a valve manufacturing business are not true at this property, as it doesn't have the infrastructure for such business. His website lists his Grafton residence as a place of his business, and not the Vesleyville property. Now that is interesting. And you can go on his on the website and it shows his house, that's his place of business. So he's not manufacturing anything in Vesleyville, that's just a smoke screen. My understanding is that he made the same claims when he owned the property at Nash. The community of Vesleyville doesn't care about putting junk in the building. I don't care if he stores it up to the rafters, I don't care what's in the building. But we request that because of the environmental health and safety issues defined and identified by the health inspector, that the junk be physically removed from the property on all four sides of the building and hauled out of Vesleyville, restoring the physical appearance, health, and safety of the property prior to that of Mr. Sand owning the property. The residents of Vesleyville are also requesting that he maintain the property, that it be mowed to reduce rodent populations, and that just isn't a little mowing around his junk, that means the whole property. The community of Vesleyville is also requesting that the Walsh County Commission moves forward with seating a rezoning committee to meet to rezone the property so that no further violations of hauling of junk on the property will occur. Discussions have been ongoing with the commission, but thus far, even though I have requested that I be made aware of or invited to attend any such meeting, I assume no actions or meetings have been scheduled, as I have not been made aware of any. The community of Vesleyville wants to thank the Walsh County Commission, the Public Health Department, the District Attorney, the court, and the Walsh County Law Enforcement Agency for hearing our concerns and sincerely appreciates further actions to mitigate the problem. Now, an addendum on that, he's already broken his probation. His court appearance was on the 24th, which is on a Friday, in which he was strictly ordered not to bring in any more vehicles, any more junk into the property. On the 28th, somewhere between the 28th and the 29th, a van appeared on the property, parked on the north side of the property. I did call the Walsh County Sheriff's Department and filed a complaint. They came out. They looked at it, they took pictures of it. And I just talked to the officer this morning and I guess if you could just update me on the status when you get that of what's been going on. The officer told me that they were going to contact the state's attorney's office And let them know, let her know what is going on. I do have pictures, I took pictures before I left, the vehicle has not left, it's still there. He tried to cleverly hide it behind container there that he's got, I don't know why he thinks, I guess we're all dumb. And that's a violation of his probation, right there, and it only took, I don't think the ink was dried on the court document yet, and he's already doing this kind of stuff. He's got stuff in the right of way again, if you're interested in that. It just keeps coming in. I took a video of him, he works at night, like about 11 o'clock at night with his skid steer. Moving stuff from one place to the other going on the main county road. The skid steer has no backup lights, no lighting, just a little orange bubble on top that works part of the time. So a safety risk, I mean, if somebody would come through there at night, weren't paying attention to what they were doing, I mean, they run right into him. He's got no backup beeping on his skid steer. He pretty much does what he wants to do, and pretty much, doesn't care what anybody else wants. Now, if you go and talk to Mr. Sand, he will tell you everything you want to hear. He will tell you he's in the process of cleaning it up and you just gotta give him more time. Well, we've given him over a year now, and patience is running thin. I guess I would like to know before I leave today what the next steps are on the rezoning. I think we really need to get serious about that and get that going as soon as possible. Because we've got 18 months to 2 years to get this settled now. And we're not gonna give up. We're gonna do as much as it takes. Every time he makes a violation, I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna contact the Walsh County Sheriff's Department. I really want this to end. We just wanna live in peace in our town again. And we don't want this nuisance. I mean, our property values, what's happening to our property values?
I'm just gonna interrupt you, Herb, because I wanna give either Ernie or Denny a chance to talk about the zoning or the planning and zoning meeting.
Sure.
And I apologize for you not being, I mean, it's not just Vesleyville on there either, so I'll give you guys a chance to talk about
I
what.
guess we talked about it at our last meeting and Kelly advised us that he was going to court, that she sort of said, why don't we wait, see what happens there and then we'll move forward. So we didn't get any word about the court. I don't know, did you?
No, I didn't either.
Well, we know what, we know, I mean.
Yeah,
Mr.
yeah,
Windsor
and I'm not doubting anything, it's just
told
now,
us about.
And you can go on the court website and you can look at,
well,
I mean, it's right
Yeah.
there.
I guess the question how do we rezone it? What do we rezone it to?
Well, it's gonna have to be rezoned to something that he can't be bringing in this junk. He's not manufacturing anything there. I don't know what is rezoned now. Does anybody know? What is zoned?
I think the quickest, this is me thinking, I think the quickest action is if he's violating his probation and everything, enforce all that, cause it ain't gonna be a 1 or 2 day deal, but if we rezone or anything, it's gonna be a while, but to me, and I'm not blaming anybody here, but if he's violating his probation, then something should be done. And maybe we can talk to the state's attorney or whoever, or Ron, and see what's happening, cause I don't know if you're familiar with planning and zoning, but you just don't go in and change something, we'd have to do certain steps, and this is advice of Kelly. That, you gotta do certain things and everything else, and we gotta be careful what we do.
But hasn't it been way over? Aren't you supposed to be doing this rezoning every so many years and are we way over that?
Well, I don't know,
I don't.
both of us got on the planning and zoning, so.
Yeah, and
We're still at a point where man's got a right to do what he wants to do on his private property.
Not when he's violating health.
The health and safety issues is one thing and the right of way is another. But how do we rezone something that can have a wide ranging effect on a lot of people? And I sympathize with you folks, I really do, because I've driven by there and I've seen it and I've been kind of keeping an eye on it too, but it's private property.
we do wanna be careful too, Mr. Windsor, that what we ask for, the planning and zoning, because if we make something like tighten it up, it's gonna be tightened up for everybody in Wesleyville. And I'm not saying that it can't be, but,
Who sets the standards?
well,
And I mean, that's.
there's different zoning things that you use, but also,
I think,
everybody will have to move anything away
Yeah.
from,
Maybe it's time to clean the place up then.
right?
does that include trees and everything else that are on the right of way? That's where you gotta be careful.
Because Grafton has trees in the right of way, there's going up, you know, there's like Mango.
But with nothing zoned there or ever done anything, it's hard for the zoning. To me, the realistic thing would be to get this probation going and get that stuff out of there. And then, when Danny said, I don't know if there's really anything we can do to rezone that won't affect use. I don't know. I'm not that smart, and it's gonna have to go somewhere, cause wasn't she looking at something that Grand Forks did and changed? So she has been looking at it, and she's got other things important stuff, and I'm not making excuses, but we just sort of went on what she said, to wait till the court deal and everything, and maybe Danny and I, we should go talk to her and just say, hey, we gotta get this probation and stuff wrapped up, to then give us time, if we're gonna go anywhere with the planning and zoning, I don't know.
Yeah, I lost my train of thought with everybody. Amy,
Well, you mentioned, I guess where I'm going, you mentioned or heard about that this Jason Anderson is waiting for an order from Walsh County to be able to proceed, and I guess I feel that's the direction and the next step we should go. So whether we need to make a motion for that or what, just to get that moving, because
that's not our.
you mentioned it needs to come from the county, so is that coming from Kelly or?
Yeah, this is
County Health.
Excuse me, Ron,
So the order has to come from the court, and we have to wait till the 90 days are up.
60,
Or whatever the time period was, to allow him to clean it up. And then after that, he would be in contempt of court, that we have to let the process play out, that's unfortunately the way it works. That if he's violating his probation, we will send that up to the state's attorney for her consideration for more charges. So, I will check on that to make sure that report has gone up there. But you need to report the violations as they come in, and we will forward them to the state's attorney for possible charges from the state's attorney. But as far as cleaning it up goes, I think you have to wait the time period prescribed by the court to allow him the time to clean it up.
Yep, I agree, it says right here that he does get the 60 days. During the next 2 years, he may not bring in, store, park vehicles, et cetera, on the vestibule property. So any of that is in violation. So those violations, correct, Ron,
Need to be reported.
to the Walsh County Sheriff's Department. And then we go from there as far as those probation violations, but he does have 60 days, you saw it, to clean up. And yes, we don't want him bringing stuff up there. You see it, honestly, if I lived in Vestaville, I'd probably be here with you, complaining about it. Mr. Regella, do you have anything? We have just a few more minutes.
Is there anything we can do? Cause the county has the right of way. So is there anything we can do with that to get that cleaned up? You know, cause he's just gonna ride this out, right? He's gonna keep putting stuff out there.
Well, that'll be another violation
If
if he does.
if we take and clean up the right of way, maybe you'll think that we're serious.
Well,
You know, I know, you know, we gotta store the stuff somewhere, right? Okay, so you got 90 days to keep it, and it's legally yours, you can scrap.
well, here, I mean, we're going back to, we don't have a spot to store this in. It is what it is. Jason, if you wanna just touch on that, because I don't want, we've talked about this before.
If you have to come in for a right of way, we have to come in for the right of way for everybody.
Yes.
Versus just one location. Other cars, fences, anything that's in the right of way, all needs to be taken care of. And the right of way there has many houses in the right of way.
The houses are there before the highway.
Yeah, well, we're not, we won't debate that, because we're not gonna move anybody's house, we're not gonna do anything like that. If it's causing a hazard, then we probably would be doing something about it. Now, Nasa, do you wanna say anything? I wanna give everybody a chance to know what's going on, so.
Yes, ma'am, so I bought the property, the ranch home that is across the road from the property that's being mentioned. The gentleman wasn't there when I moved in, he moved in about June, 2 months after the thing that started to happen immediately was late at night when it was dark. A lot of movement and things were going on, things were being brought in. I didn't notice, I didn't think about it or correlate it because I've never lived in like a country setting before. I'm new to the area. I stayed out of it because I don't know the laws of the land, so to speak, and I was just new to the area. But I did have a huge uptake in mice. My house is 360 surrounded now. I have 12 mice traps all around my home just to control it. But the issue that I had 2 weeks ago, actually, before I started working here, I had kind of stayed out of it because I was new and I just didn't know the lay of the land and the community was handling it. But 2 weeks ago, the gentleman was burning, he started a rubber fire midday. Normally he does it late at night when it's dark. And I was working remotely from home then, and my windows were open, and I have a respiratory issue. One of the reasons why I moved here is because I can't live in the city anymore due to that. I was able to get one window closed, but my nose started burning, my esophagus started to just spasm. I collapsed. I wasn't able to get to my kitchen, close the other window. When I came to, I don't know how long it was, but I did call the police. The police officer came, I spoke to him, he went across and he spoke to Mr. Stan. And after that, Mr. Doe came to my home, said that the officer told him that he had permission to burn the rubber. And I think that's illegal, but I didn't argue with him because I had heard things about Mr. Stan and I was like, I didn't want to get into it. I live alone. That's why I called the police, because I was unconscious for a while and he does those fires all the time. It was the first time he did one midday. Normally when he does them late at night, it's dark. All of my windows are closed in my bedrooms. So like the public side of my house, my living room, my dining room, my kitchen, and my office faces property. But my bedroom is on the other side facing north, so I can kind of not hear it, but you hear the moving and the truck I had, that was another thing that I didn't prepare notes or anything, it's just, I started working. But that's true, that machine goes really late at night for long hours. And that's what he seems to do when it's dark, that's when he starts moving things about. I also have had I pay to have my garbage picked up because I can't consciously burn, things, but I have had several issues with a lot of the trash going into my land. I pick it up, but the disposal company pays me, that they charge me $20 for every box or large item, so I've been paying for it. The last time I was very fed up, it was a huge box and it was there and it was raining. And I just drove it back to his property, but I have had issues as well with the garbage. I just never went to speak with him because I was kind of nervous about it.
Yep. Okay,
So-
well. I guess it seems that the best thing we can do right now is to report. To the Walsh County Sheriff's Department, any violation that he's doing. And we're gonna talk to the state's attorney to make sure, or Ron will, that we're gonna get the ball rolling. To, deal with that. Like we said, he's got 60 days to clean up, but I'll make sure that something is gonna be done with those probation violations, because this can't continue on. Ernie,
When's the date on that, the 60 days start, the probation?
May 20.
Is it the 24th?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, May 24th,
I thought you
so,
said he had one before.
Well, that was before when he was actually in contempt of court during
that was-
the.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
Misunderstood.
So this was actually when he had his court last week, and
Okay.
he did plead guilty to it, and, this is,
something to work
what happened.
Yes.
So I think this is what we can do. We'll make sure that those violations are being worked on. And anything else, just, keep bringing them in. I don't know what else to tell you. I guess I would request that the planning and zoning would let you know, or,
Yes, I would like to continue on that road. We need to get this resolved, and it's not gonna get resolved by just
yeah,
excuses of why we can't resolve it. We want something done now. We've waited through the process, we've been patient, now we want action.
Yeah.
And if he's violating probation, we want action.
So that preparation would end roughly the week of the 21st to the 27th of July. Right in there.
I have Wednesday, July 24th.
Okay, yep. Let us know if that date hits.
I commend you for what you're doing. I really do.
I've got
And the people from.
I've got a timeline, I've got notes, I've got pictures, I mean, he's in clear violation with this stuff. No matter what he tells you, do not
Yeah.
believe him.
yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming in, Mr. Regella.
What do we do, like, if there's a forklift that's really close to the highway? Do we gotta report that to the sheriff's department? Do we, what do we do?
I would say yes.
Because
What do you,
I mean, unless,
what does he mean about the forklift being close to the highway?
I've got a video right
Are you talking about it being in the right of way?
yeah, it's really close.
There's nothing I can do about it or parking in the right of way.
Okay,
okay,
This is a video of him working at night. This is his skid steer.
On that right away was 33 feet.
thank you.
So right away was 33 feet.
I think so. Now it's bigger.
Lights.
55 or
If
60.
he's on the roadway.
The first 10 feet
Give us a call and we'll
build
come down.
the sales building is actually on the side of the right of way.
That's about all that we can do.
There's multiple houses that are in the right of way, buildings
Okay.
are all parking through there, so it's a parking lot and.
Okay, well, we'll move on. Thank you for coming in, and we'll follow through with this. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, we'll have Jason next.
We're bringing weight up, there's an addition for some items that come up. So send it in, I'll go, what's your first, sorry. I'll just turn.
What's going on
this, I'm just gonna jump in quick,
for,
flex funding, from DOT. So these are contracts, the DOT funded for that last round of applications. It's for the bridge by Swanson's and the bridge in Golden Valley for the design of them. The
do I need to
DOT,
sign in?
so that's, the DOT does want to review them, prior to awarding them, so we just wanna present them to you guys, and then if you can make a motion to approve contingent on DOT concurrence, then we can just have Karen sign them once we get everything back from the DOT. Rather than having you guys sign, and then if they don't like one of the words or something like that with their legal team, then you have to re-sign it. So, that was kind of what the thought was for the process of that, I guess.
Structure that we're talking about.
So one is the Golden Valley one is over one of the township shows. It is a mile east of Highway 32, in Golden Township. That's one of the bridges that it closed last September. DOT funding has given us $160,000 towards the preliminary designs for the replacement of that structure, so we can have something moving forward. Basically, what it's gonna do is give us a set of plans that the next time the funding comes out, we'll have a shovel ready project that we can.
Was it east or west of the?
West.
West.
West of the. Yeah.
Mile less than mile north of 17.
Which project number is that one? Golden Valley.
Golden Valley would be 2403-00842.
Okay.
And the other bridge is actually a mile to the west of Nash and 2 miles north. They're basically 2 miles straight north of the end of number 8. That bridge, as we had to close it a year ago, we did some work to it, bring it back up to 8 ton. But with all the farms that go through that area, the large equipment that goes through, now all that equipment has to go through on number 6. It goes down with that bridge, we don't have any other one close by, so the DOT acknowledged that as well, so it gives us basically 2 roads that we can run the farm equipment back and forth on. So those, that's what they're called. What's corridor? Yeah, basically corridor roads. Yeah. So we can keep moving and farmers safe through everything, everybody going. So with that one, they have the funding for us to not only do the preliminary design, but to do the replacement cost and to do construction engineering as part of that project. Those involve $1.2 million.
1.2?
Yeah. So it's all funding that they've gotten towards us for those, so, we just would like to have the one that DOT gets. Does their approvals, we'd like just be able to contact Karen to sign off on them. And then we can keep everything moving faster, that would mean.
It's just the stuff that they send me on email and I,
Yes.
okay,
I'll make a motion, we move forward.
okay. I'll take it. Any more discussion? I'll take the roll. Danny,
Yes.
Amy, Christie, yeah, Ernie,
Yes.
myself, yes. Something weird happened the other day. I got an email to sign something, a DocuSign, and I went into it and it was signed already.
Oh,
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
That's a weird one.
Yeah,
Not sure what, yeah, I don't, when the DocuSigns come out, I don't see them.
yeah.
They go to the auditor's office and commissioners. So then I get phone calls and then.
Yeah. Okay,
What was that going to
did that ever happen to you, Denny?
Yes, very confusing, those DocuSigns.
Yeah, that's the first time. I mean, I signed it, you know,
Yeah.
we press this and then you're done, and but that one was signed already, so.
It could have been that the DOT signed it, they get it, send it back to you, so that should know all signatures have been completed.
Well, it asked me to sign, so I don't know, but yeah, they might have sent it in a wrong thing too, so. Well, did I call this already? Motion? Yeah, we voted, okay. Okay,
You know, on those ones, Karen, if you get something, you have questions with DOT, I mean, you can either ask Jason or if you wanna reach out to me too, I can certainly
sure,
question them too.
okay. Okay, sounds good, okay. Now, when do I, yeah, I just the DocuSign, okay.
So.
Okay,
All right, thank you guys.
thanks, Wayne.
Then next to the items I had on the agenda came up here, packet was
Yeah.
from Tommy,
Can I just
yes.
give one, I'd like to be done here by 11:20, okay? At least, because we have that next meeting, so, well,
Yeah.
no new business.
I don't think anything else is new after that.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things where the DOT is telling us things.
Oh, no, I know,
I can't get into the
but
back.
as far as what we have here,
Yeah.
because we have another meeting at 11:30, so, but you're fully aware.
So we have the, I sent you in the packet of information from Mommy and some things that Susan and I have been working on. One of them that we've moved forward with is working on changing our daily passes a little bit. So it's easier for Susan and staff out there to catch the people that aren't paying their day passes and are still coming into the park and using them for services. So we've got some hangers that we're gonna put in the windows that we'll be able to put in there and say, yes, they've paid, make it easier for everybody to work for that type of thing. And so we've done that portion. The next portion really is about the building acquisitions, essentially pictures that Susan had on. One is for basically a carport shed that we relocate to Humvee and use it for protecting and covering the firewood. The log splitter and those items there. They go right to the west side of the shop behind that fence that we have right there that kind of hides the firewood right now. So that's where that one would go. The other building in the picture that Susan has is a little small storage shed. We went and looked at both yesterday. the small storage shed she has actually could be incorporated into, like the office we spoke of at the preliminary meeting. It's got some windows to it, we need some minor siding repairs at this point in time, but it'd be something that could easily move and relocate her office out to that, where the little shed is right now, and move all those items from the shed back into the shop. The shed that's there, we could actually relocate that down to by the boat ramps and put the kayaks and the paddle boats down there for rentals, so we don't have to move them back and forth, and easier for everyone to rent them and store them. Keep the paddles and everything, getting less stuff out of, most things out of that front area, because they're not just sitting on trailers for.
We would have to have electricity hooked up to this building, correct?
Yes, we would have to put some electricity into it, to move the shop into it, so I imagine that the electricity would be a couple of $1,000 and something that we could just. It'd be surface run, wouldn't have to be hitting in the walls or anything like that, so it'd make it cheaper, but just knowing electricians and electrical costs and different things like that, would have to. Have a 200 amp panel and those type of things, so. Just wanted to bring it up to you, see what your thoughts are, on those. Part of the meeting that we had this spring, we had you take a look at other buildings to take a, because we had talked about them. We look at some other canvas buildings that are in that $500 to $1,000 range that for protecting the firewood and things too, so. But Susan.
I have pictures also of both of the buildings that we're talking about.
We have them, yeah, no, we have them, Susan, on our computers, so.
Madam Chairman.
Yes.
I do have some concerns when I look at this carport. Is that, it's not a great picture, but is that rusty? Is it rusted?
I didn't really see any large rust on it. There was spots on it. It could have had some pieces, I guess, when we looked at history. The other thing about that carport is it's so high, but there is a section there, looks like we could remove from it, so it wouldn't be that level. We could remove a section out of it and be like a 7-foot high storage instead of the 13 really is right now for the boat.
Yeah, 13-foot would, when, if it rained, everything would get wet under there.
Yeah.
Right, why don't we just?
Even if it was 7 feet, it would get wet under there. With the rains we've had.
Depends on the wind,
Yeah.
I would like to keep Pommy looking nice and improve it. And if we move old things in, it's gonna look old. So I guess my feeling is, especially on this carport, why are we gonna bring in something that's rusted and really doesn't suit our need? Why don't we purchase something that would suit our need, that would look decent, you know? I mean,
I guess I would.
bringing something in rusty does not appeal to me.
Well, what we're talking about with the wood and everything, that's 3 years old. So it's not rusted, it's in good quality condition.
This carport?
Yeah,
Well, on the picture here, it looks rusted, so
That looks
maybe
like
it's,
wood, Christine.
is it wood? I don't know. It looks rusted here, but it's hard to tell on this
Is that a
picture.
piece of wood across there?
Cause to me, if this was wood, it'd be all
Yeah,
the
they
same
were-
color all the way across.
they were putting the top on
And
and
they,
they just use that as a brace.
okay,
Madam Chair,
yes,
how much firewood do we sell?
Last year, I think we.
Sure, they're gonna resell it.
We don't sell, we changed the policy on that, so
Yes,
last year we were
from Tebet?
basically giving away all the firewood. So we split the firewood, we bring a lot,
Oh,
we split it,
the-
we're basically giving it away, we don't do that
Could be
anymore.
fixed.
We have one
It's
bundle
an
free
old
after that.
building?
We charge $7, so we'll be changing that. Last year, I believe, for the fire income we did get was about $4,000.
Who supplies it? Already good.
All the trees that came in last year were donated. For turning into it, some of them are trees that are from actually at Omni where we've turned them into the firewood. 4 trailer loads came from my house,
But who splits it in bundles of them?
the park staff split and bundle it. that's why we don't give it away for free anymore, because it was something that we put that cost into, that we're putting all these things into, and we can't just keep giving it away.
But I don't, pass that, excuse me, I don't know that it's our job at Hami to supply firewood for people. I go camping quite a bit. Either I buy the firewood there, and I don't know that they split it, you know, maybe they have more people, or I bring my own, I don't know, I don't want our employees doing any more work than they have to, and I want that place to look nice when I come in, I'm like Christie. Firewood should be the very last thing that's done.
Sell it in town, you know, so. That's where I was going from.
Yeah. I know it's a great thing, people like fires, but I never think about, you know, oh, am I gonna get, and especially a free bundle too. I mean,
Well, one of the reasons why we've continued is because we have the log splitter. So it didn't make any sense to have the wood brought in or we buy it and then sell it back. The trees that we take down, a lot of them we can use for firewood. And that's the only reason why we continued, with that.
but I don't want you to waste time, Susan, or anybody else working, and I don't know how you do that, but I mean, there were times last year that we all heard it, the lawn wasn't mowed, the weeds were not, that is our main priority, okay? We want that, and I've already had somebody tell me 3 weeks ago that garbages were not taken out on Thursday when they were there. The lawn didn't get mowed till a day later. That is our main thing, is to keep that place looking nice.
Right.
And you do a great job of promoting. We just, with the hours that are put in, it's gotta be mowed. And I know you can't do it when it's gonna rain, but if you think it's gonna rain Friday morning, mow on Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay, just wanted to get that out there. Ernie?
Not only that, you keep adding buildings, you do this one, move this one, add another one, it starts getting cluttery. To me, I don't want that at Hami. Hami to me, it is and still is a pristine place, people like going there. So I'm sentiment of everybody else, I want it looking good. And if this firewood is a big hassle or whatever, to me, scrap it. They can buy it in town like Danny said, Sonic says it there.
There used to be a pile down east there at the end of the,
Yeah.
I mean, if they want to go cut their own down there, have at it.
I live in a place with 120 campers.
We don't want people coming in, cutting their own.
No.
Different liabilities, issues and things like that.
And as far as these building, it's probably great, but now we're into June. And we should be not taking any of our guys off unless we know it's gonna rain for 3 days. But we can't get all this done in that amount we can't be taking people off our bridge crew, our road crew,
This wouldn't
anything,
be a high priority item.
right?
I mean, when the guys,
Okay.
yesterday, the guys got into a bridge and they took it all apart, that's why I'm not putting it
Yep.
back in there. We had 3 other problems that have surfaced in the last week.
Okay,
They wouldn't be, these buildings
Okay.
would not be taking precedence over our highways and roads.
Okay.
It wouldn't be there.
okay,
Madam Chairman,
yes,
I would agree with Christie, at least on this wood carport, I think it's too large for the needs that we have. And I don't have an opinion on the other one, if that's gonna work for office or whatever space, but I do not think the carport is of a size that's gonna fit the needs that we're talking about for wood. So I think we either find something that's gonna fit our need on a smaller scale, or we table it for now.
I just wanted to bring it to you, so,
Yeah.
it was something I didn't feel I could make a compliment.
okay. So are we gonna move forward with the little building to bring in? When it's, I mean. Here's the other thing, Susan, I don't want you spending time, or we don't want you spending time. You know, getting this building ready. You have things to do, I mean, you're busy, you added some things. I mean, I wouldn't mind us spending money on having some little building there, but it looks like a pretty good building, but there's, you know, I've moved in a little building. I know what it takes to make a building look nice and keep looking nice. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? Ernie?
I just thought of something, why don't we scrap it this year? And this winter, when you guys got the shop or anybody and they're looking for something to do, why don't we buy lumber and building a building that will suffices what we need? I mean, I think we can do that a lot cheaper than we're paying the guys anyhow, and if you get your schedule and stuff, they must have time for a week that they can build a building that we can put out there, build it. And move it.
Like last year.
Well, yeah, you don't know, but, and we might not, but you know what, use our staff and
Well,
we got trailers, we can move it, you know, put skids on it, move it out there or whatever.
we also know what those new little buildings are. I mean, some of them are, yes, expensive, but some of them are, you know, pretty reasonable to do. And I mean, it's kind of a new concept of having something, and I can totally understand where you wanna do that. But we want our county park to look.
Right.
You put plastic,
And that's why the upgrade for putting the office right.
Yes. Yep,
Number two, there's a lot of people that go in and out.
yes.
They never have a pass.
I don't know how you can keep track, and people are not honest about coming in and out of there, so.
Right, and this can be nipped in the bud and very easily. I see it as a win-win. Also, it takes away, or it. Now I don't have people walking through the yard and through the driveway to get to the dark garage to fill out paperwork. It needs to look professional.
Yeah.
And we need that space in the garage for, now that I have that second mower.
And so then you would staff that office though with the front gate all day? I mean, there'd be someone there?
Well, when she's not home, she'd
No.
be.
Well, I'm just saying, like, the win-win is if someone's there all the time, otherwise it's another.
Saturday, Sunday would have to be manned.
Yeah,
On weekdays, these passes are specifically for the day. They hang off the rearview mirror and they will be color coded for each day. All I'm going to do is put the day's date on it, so when I drive by, it's easy, it's visible, I can see it. I don't have to go to the box and pull out the envelopes and try and match the license plate number if they've written it on.
Yeah.
So it's gonna eliminate all that work and it's gonna be visible where we can see it. Also, if I'm right there at the road, now I have a stop sign. And as they're coming in, they will know.
Yeah.
There's an area you've got to stop. So a lot of these people that are driving 2-3 times a day, I see them.
Yeah.
Same cars. If you're going to do that, I don't have an issue if you go in, go up the top, go back out. But if you're doing it 2 and 3 times a day, every day.
Yeah.
Buy a $35 season pass and you're covered.
well, I think that, you know, they'll take care of that, but as far as the building, I think that's gonna be put on hold. We'll try and find something for you. And do it that way. How does that sound to everyone?
I think you compare, you know, cause you also have to think of the guy's time, like building a building sounds
Yeah,
easy, but. Maybe one out at that lot
Yeah.
makes more sense if it's gonna be not a lot difference in price.
Yeah. Okay, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
The next item I had on the agenda is.
Can I just say one more thing? Thank you for updating everything on the website too, so people know.
I do that consistently.
Yep,
I've gotten a lot of feedback.
Good.
I've got a whole lot more likes, but also because of the changes that we're making. With like, you can't walk in and, unless you pay for a site.
yeah.
That's your site, otherwise don't call me, I'm not blocking it.
Yep. Okay, well, I'm gonna cut you off because we have another meeting at 11:30, so, and we have quite a bit of business left. But I just wanted to thank you, Susan, for that. Okay. We'll move on then.
The next item on my agenda was just the 2024 map that I provided you all, so you can see where we put in the main focuses. These aren't our trouble spot gravels that show up during the year or the mud spots from this year. This is just the big high priority items that we put in for. And each district is getting 17 to 20 miles of gravel. On this plan, 17 to 20. So, about a little over, just under half will end up getting gravel this year, just because of the needs that we have.
You're gonna have enough gravel put up to handle all that?
Yes. Now that we have the gravel we have, but we're actually using the contracted gravel price because it was actually cheaper than ours. So our contract, Thompson's are hauling out of the contracted bit with the we have for material prices, so we can keep our stock of gravel.
Those are good quality?
Yes. So provided that, the next item I have is the St. Andrews, Texas crossing. Commissioner Anderson called me and asked me about putting a letter together stating that we will not be repairing that site anymore. This is the one that we had Mr. Celestian for last fall. In January initially, or when he was in, we still haven't received payment, but he said he would pay for. So we'll be putting that towards his taxes, but it's just a letter that I provide to you, just to see if, I guess I need your motion to sign this, to send it to Mr. Salisky about how we won't be maintaining that site anymore. We did put up a road or a bridge closed, that, sign up there this spring when the waters came through, and right now it's underwater, so.
So Mr. Selesky contacted me so he could get a letter stating that we weren't going to. He's been dealing with township. For now, he can go in the other way, but that could change real quick.
Yeah.
I didn't really intend to have anything putting on there about the tax thing. That is a separate issue. So, and I don't know that. I don't know whether we need a motion for that to be signed or not, but.
Is there any ramifications by writing him a letter?
Just letting him know we're done. So
He asked, yeah, he asked.
Well, just ask for a letter forward,
Yeah, I don't,
know why we need, it was
Yeah.
part of the proposal,
so
we need
it's,
a letter for it, honestly.
Close sign up there?
Yeah.
You could probably go back to the minutes of the meeting when we made that decision. On the date and so and so to back, this commission didn't make it, but were you part of it, Karen, when we? said
yes,
that?
but I mean, he just wanted us to send him,
Yeah, I know.
what Jason had on there was
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, just.
Mine will it.
But I'd like that tax thing taken off of there. If at all possible, it's two separate issues, okay? Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay, perfect. Okay,
I will take that part out and send them.
Yep.
The next addendum you got were, the drain permits, we have one for, Gary Duck Savage, that was in your package. Looking for approval, this one was just looking at cleaning out the ditch from sediment from the culverts along W2. To make sure that they flow properly, and the water board has signed off on it, they have no problems with it, and I don't either. Drifter, river dirt, stuff that's built up over the last few years. Nothing from this year's flood, obviously, because it wasn't one that reached that level, but just combinations of dirt over the years.
I will make a motion to approve it. Savage.
second, any more discussion?
Around your fingers.
Hearing none, call the roll, Denny,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
Christie.
Yes.
Bernie.
Yes.
Myself, yes, motion carried.
Two other drain permits that were from, submitted to us, one is from Myrtle's, for requesting approach crossing put in on County 1, in between the state DOT and our culvert that we have in there. So they can get to their tile pumps. I went out and took a look at the site. Any approach should be put in there. It's just gonna create an issue with the water that we have draining through, and I'm recommending that we do not approve the permit request. There is an approach into this field off of County 1 that's halfway down, a half mile down the road where they can get into their field. We don't normally give people more than one access, near a half a mile. But where they're requesting is a location that is not going to be of benefit to anybody on it. So, and they want to resubmit a request and put it in west of our culvert, down a little bit further, instead of being half a mile from the intersection. I guess I would entertain that, but not in this location. It will hinder water flows. So I just wanted to bring that one to your attentions. The water board did not sign off on that one for mine as well, so I don't have that one for signatures. The other one we got was from Zickman's down on 2019 of Eden Township in the northwest section of 27. I went up and take a look at that. Right now, the culvert or the ditch is clean culvert to culvert, and the flows from their crossing to the west, but then go south. I didn't see any reason for that to be cleaned out any further. There's plenty of capacity in it. When I was watching, the water was flowing and stopped multiple places to look at. So I don't think anything further cleaning needs to be done on that section. They did have a permit on that one just a couple of years ago before too, so. So my recommendation for that one was also a do not pass.
So we can do a motion if they're not, I mean, they weren't even signed
I'll
off.
let you know about.
Yeah, okay,
That
sure.
you had them. Then the
Thank
other thing I think that came through in this middle, the secondary packet was some sign purchases for road signs. Newman Signs came in about $1,500 cheaper than Sign Solutions. The last few times we've been them out, Sign Solutions has been higher. Just looking for approvals to continue purchasing signs from Newman Signs so we have them.
I'll make the motion to accept Newman Signs.
I'll second.
Everybody's like that.
Any more questions? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Christie, yes. Ernie?
Yes.
Danny?
Yes.
Amy, yes. Myself, yes. Motion carried.
I have nothing else.
Okay, Danny has,
Yeah, I just like to, I know it's not our ballgame, so to speak, but is there any pressure we can put on the state of North Dakota that, I mean, the state highways in our county are, some of them aren't travelable.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're just in horrible condition. And I know it's not our lane, but I'd just be remiss if something were to happen and we didn't express some concern.
Yeah.
Or put some pressure on the state to.
I've called the state on a few different crossings, but I call them a couple more. One in particular to me is, we just redid number 9, from 18 to number 9, so we turned off in that approach and it's all torn apart. It's full of holes. So I know they were out working on some potholes at the beginning of spring, and I don't remember if Highway 18 has anything on their STIP plan for the next few years, but I'll be talking to them about some pieces, so.
They're not even signed. I mean, that Highway 18 from 17 south to the county line is chambers.
Yeah, there's a lot of sites that are not
what
good.
do you mean not signed, Danny? What signs are supposed to be
Open pavement,
on what?
Warning.
warning about,
Broken pavement or on level or, yeah.
I mean, if there was a motorcycle hit any of those ruts, even on 17.
Yeah.
We're also getting lots of phone calls from people, about the railroad right of ways. We have nothing we can do on that. I did put on Facebook where people can find the sign of each crossing. There's supposed to be a blue sign there. They can call that 800 number, give them that site crossing and tell them what the problems are and have them come out. if they don't feel comfortable doing that, and they reach out to us, and they get us the sites, I'll make the calls, I do that for our staff. On almost daily basis.
And it's our citizens that are granting these roads and.
I can make a call, I have to talk to the DOT about the water, I can talk to them and see if they give me an update on some plans I can bring back to you.
Okay, thank you. Yes,
Can we, being he's still here, the Madison Dam update this morning, that's gonna affect our county roads. So I don't know if Jason wants to say anything on it, the one plan that I said they're going to, because it's cheaper, they actually put in, what was it, $25,000 for maintenance, for helping us blow snow and everything, and there's some rumor about maybe buying equipment for us to help us out. And I don't know where the water board is, I think they're leaning toward too, and just for safety for our county people. And I know the highway department's probably gonna send a letter, and I said from the commission, we'd send a letter. It's, to me, that alternate 3 shouldn't even be looked at, but that's the one they want us to do just because of funding. Well,
and what is it? Because I didn't hear any of that.
So alternate 3 for Matchek, being it's a severe risk dam. Alternate 3 is basically designing it and building it like, if anyone's been to Renwick and Icelandic State Park, it'll be there, where the road will be actually on the west side of the outlet industry. So any snow that comes through will be caught up on it. If the water's going over top, no matter which of the alternative roads, the road's full anyways, so there'll be water going over it. But this will definitely be a snow catch where we will have to have a snowboarder there on a daily basis to remove snow from it. It would be a full minimum of a 4-foot elevation change from where the road will be below the top of the structure of the dam. And then they have an outlet spot where it'll be up to 11 feet. So it's definitely gonna be an hindrance on how we would have to change it and alter our snow removals and ice for that as well. It'll create an issue. So we did take a look in 2019 was the last time that there were daily traffic, so it was up to 126 from 100 a few years before that, well, 10 years prior. We're going to be seeing if I could reach out to DOT, see if I can borrow one of their trackers, so we can see what our flows are through there. With this dam project, no matter which one of the alternatives they're taking care of, that road will be closed for up to 2 years.
yeah.
Well,
Madam Chairman,
yes,
can I just ask, I attended that meeting, they gave us 3 options, or they gave the water board 3 options.
Yeah,
Why are they dictating now that we have to go with this option?
NRCS and the Fed are dictating that it would be the cheapest route. So we could still do the whatever we want, but they're saying we would have to make up the difference between it.
So you're looking at $8 million between 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 are close at 30 million in this one.
Yeah, between the 2 and the 3, they had concrete block and the alternative would be it's what, $8 million difference.
8 million.
So they're saying that we can make that.
County or state?
Water board.
Water board?
So NRCS is dictating this.
That's what we were told today. It was on.
Because that's the programs through NRCS, federal funding or whatever.
So then why didn't that representative from NRCS say anything at that meeting that day? Why didn't she let us go through all these options and brainstorm and try to figure out which would be the best option, and she didn't say a word?
She said it today. I don't know.
who's the representative for now?
Can't remember her last name.
Christine something.
Okay.
Yeah. LB said, point blank told her, he said, so you give us 3 options, but you tell us we only got 1.
Do they have a timeline on this?
Huh?
They have a timeline on this?
No. They're just doing studies and stuff.
Yeah, they're working on processes of payments and things, so they have, I can't remember what their dates are that they have to things to you, but I will be working on a letter, to create and try and push additional support to try and increase the funding levels to do alternate 2 that keeps our road on top of the dam instead of being below and being a snow catch, for emergency services aspects than anything else, honestly.
Well, not, we're thinking snow, but not only that, what happens if we get the big 5-inch rain and all of a sudden the dam comes up? We haven't even marked the road and there's water there and somebody drives through it. There's so much safety stuff that whoever's deciding up there, they ain't really looking at. That's gonna affect us and our people in this county.
What are they gonna do to her too?
if it's gonna close our road for 2 years. Probably won't be a detour, I don't know, we haven't seen the plans, but I don't know how they'd make a detour.
Well, we can talk about this
Yeah, yeah.
later, I don't mean to.
Yeah, yeah.
We have the,
But I just wanna let you know that we'll probably be writing a letter and getting your signatures on it, 'cause
okay. Okay, Ernie, we'll go to you then, talk about.
I'll do it quick.
Yeah,
Septic tanks,
thank
I
Jason.
got a call from our contractors and everything else. So I talked to Alan at the health board and I also talked to, I never get his name right, Javen at the
Yep.
North Grand Forks Health. The complaint I got, and Bruce Ellington is now hired on the state and they're in charge, it's sort of a plumbers association. The state really don't wanna make the decisions on this. So they're getting together and he just called me this morning, I'm gonna call him back. We're gonna meet with Alan. The gripe I had and our contractors and some of the people in here, we weren't treated the same as Grand Forks. Grand Forks and I'm not picking on anybody here, but I'll give you a prime example. Our contractors gotta go to these meetings in schools and do all this. Grand Forks, they can go watch a 2-hour video, go rent a backhoe from Acme and put their own drain tiles. And their drain tiles are different size. So I talked to Javen about this and I said, you know what?
You mean a drain tile for a
Or
house?
the septic tank.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. So anyhow, I told him, I said, you know what, all I'm asking is, cause I'm getting complaints from our people and I'm getting complaints from contractors. What's good for Grand Forks County should be good for Wash and Pembina. Well, Bruce and them worked on it. I'm sort of anxious to hear what he said. Cause finally Javen even admitted it. And I said, I don't wanna bypass this, but I wanna meet with Alan and Bruce and him and talk to this and see where we're at and then bring it back to you guys. Cause I don't think we should be traded any, I wasn't aware of this. And it's way back when this started, probably 3 years ago, when the health board and we accepted it, that Walt was on the board. He started and he got sick of it, so now the state hired Bruce to do this. I'll tell you what, I was impressed with Bruce.
Bruce
What he-
does a.
Yeah, what he was doing and everything else, and I said, keep me in touch. So hopefully this afternoon we get some meetings and then I'll bring it, after we talk to Alan and then we'll bring it back to you. But that's all I want is fairness.
Yeah.
So,
Thanks, Ernie.
yeah. And then the only other thing I'll make it quick, Karen, is these water tours. Did you get this?
Yep,
The only thing I got a problem, I was thinking of going to the one on the 25th. I didn't know it was the 25th, and that's down the gorge. That's our first budget day, isn't it?
yep.
Maybe I won't go then.
I'd like to go to that one too.
Yeah.
I don't know that we can change anything. We have a budget meeting on the 25th. Could it be moved to the 26th? What do you have something, don't you?
Not.
I'm not asking that, I guess I just, if
Well,
they're not really important ones, I'd probably just go to this. If they're just the basic ones. So, cause I've been trying to go to these yearly and the close ones. But I guess I don't have to, we'll just scrap it and I won't send it in, so.
I can look, I don't know, was there?
Amy, what do you have? Oh, but yeah,
Yeah, I don't wanna change, I didn't do that for this,
yeah,
just.
okay. Okay, any more business anybody has? Hey.